So morning everyone. So let's get started with today's session. So we'll do some question based on whatever we done till yesterday. First question is on the screen. All of you try and solve this question. Okay, so the question is something like this. There's a long wire and there is a AB is a wire of length 10 centimeter. L is given as 10 centimeter. And it is kept parallel to a long wire carrying current 10 ampere. What work must be done to move AB from a distance of 20 centimeter? So initial distance 10 centimeter, finally it is moved to some distance which is 20 centimeter. So this question is about work done. Why would we do work when we change the separation? We need to look at why the work done. And what we know here, we already know if a current are flowing in the same direction, it will have an attractive force. And attractive force will, if we take the separation between them is x. Force of attraction is a function of distance between them. As the distance keep changing, the force will keep changing. So this is a case of work done by a variable force. Force is a function of x. So what is the force when the separation between them is x? Is equal to field at a distance x into L into I2. So what is the field at a distance when separation is x? Mu into current into 2 pi x into L into I2. That's the force. So if we increase the separation by dx, what will the total work done will be equal to? So work done will be equal to integration of fx dx. X varying from where to where? X is varying from 0.1 meter to 0.2 meter. Okay, so that's what integration is. And this question, since the directions are not given, they're only interested in magnitude. So we just solve it and take the magnitude. So it's a fairly simple one. It is mu naught I1, I2 into L divided by 2 pi is integration of dx by x. From where to where? From 0.1 to 0.2, which comes equal to log 2. So this is fairly simple. Mu naught I1 log to the base 2. So what we notice here, whatever work I need to do to move it from 10 centimeter to 20 centimeter, the work done to move from 20 centimeter to 40 centimeter also be equal. So work done is proportional to ratio of distance. So work done from 10 to 20 will be same from 20 to 40, same from 40 to 80, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is a qualitative question. All of you read the question and try and see.
Once can you go back, sir?
Yes.
Just for. Okay, sir.
Okay, let's come to this question here. So previous case, it was a parallel wire. It is bent in a shape like this. It's a qualitative question. Let's try and figure out force on wire CD, which is bent in this shape. Which direction will the force act? It is not asking about magnitude. It's only about direction. Okay. So, Disha, can you answer? How would you find out direction of force? We're not interested in magnitude, only the direction. Can you figure out direction, Disha?
Yes, sir.
Tell me how.
First, we can find the direction of the magnetic field.
Yes. So which direction of magnetic field will act? Entire thing lies on the right hand side. So what is the everywhere? What is the direction of field? In or out?
Inwards, sir.
Inwards into the plane of paper. So very good. First thing we have to figure out this is the direction of field everywhere. The entire thing direction of field is perpendicular to the length. DL vector is always perpendicular to B. Then what else? The next.
By right hand thumb rule, we can find the direction of force on the second wire.
Okay. And so we can find out, so for any length it is perpendicular. So which direction the force will act? Perpendicular length, if we take any element also perpendicular to L element, but which direction? It can be downwards or upwards. Which direction it would be? So this is DL vector direction.
Upwards.
Upward direction. So any small element here, the force will be in the upward direction. What we do after this disha?
Yes, sir.
So what next? Now this is done. After this, how do you proceed further? Yes, Vignesh?
So can we replace this wire by the straight line joining CD?
First question. Tell me, Disha, can we replace this wire with the straight wire joining CD?
Not uniform field. Right?
No, it's not uniform.
Yeah, it's not constant.
So first question, anybody who has a doubt, can we replace with a straight wire, the straight CD? No. That is only in case of uniform field. Uniform CD, no. So if we are interested, see what we need to do. See, two things are happening. So if we prima facie we look at this force will act in this direction, most element, and this will act in this direction. So we need to find the net force entire on CD. What we can do, we can always take corresponding pair. What I understand by a corresponding pair, we are interested in direction. So if I take a piece here, let me take an equivalent piece here also. So suppose I take an equivalent piece here, something like this. Okay. So let's see if in this, what is the relative strength of force. So here force also, what the force will act on this piece. You understand it will be upward, and here what is the direction of a force here? Which direction the force will act? See, in this case, first of all, you understood direction B is into the plane of paper. So in this case, if I use DL vector, first vector is upward, second vector is away from you. So in that case, this is the direction of force and this is the direction of force. But among these two, which will have higher magnitude of force? This one or this one?
Left one.
Left one will have. Why it will have higher magnitude of force?
Closer to the field.
It's closer.
No, so it's pretty simple. So if I mark the forces here, since it will have component both in horizontal direction as well vertical direction. If I mark the forces on this piece of element like this is the X component and this is the Y component. Similar way, the direction of force here is like this. So this will be X component and this will be the Y component. So what we notice when you look at this both here, see, X component will be the difference of the two, Y component will add up. So what is the resultant? Resultant of the two, if we take in a small element, direction of force. X component will be towards the left and Y component will be upwards. So X component will act like this and Y component both will add up, so Y component like this.
It'll be none of the options, right?
None of the options. Which direction the force will act? Are you following the method what I have done? Disha, have you understood what is this method here?
Yes, sir.
And so we have to take two symmetrical pair and then look at what is happening in each pair, and whatever relative to whatever is happening in one pair, similar thing will happen in other pairs also. Okay, so resultant direction, what will happen? This will tend to move in upwards as well as leftwards. It will also, so if the wordings were given, which direction if this is free to move, which direction it will move, actually it will have rotation also, very complicated. So, but it will have force acting, none of the above, it will have leftwards as well as upwards. I hope that part is clear.
So directed upwards means no, like exactly upwards, completely.
No, yes, here, but see, if is in this particular case, if it is single correct option, D is the correct option. Okay. It means you can say it will have upward component as well as leftward component. That's the correct. But this is more to understand how do we figure out direction of force in such kind of element. We cannot take a straight element and we can find out in this fashion. Okay, this is another typical little difficult, different kind of question. So all of you read the question. In the meantime, we'll draw the figure and see how we solve this kind of question. Okay, so I hope all of you read the question now. So let's draw how is the conductor placed here? This is something you have drawn. This is east is towards your right, and north is into the plane of screen. This is south, and so on. Upwards is vertically up. So how is the current element placed here? Can you place the current element? It is placed along east-west line. So current element is placed like this. Sorry, not current element. A conductor of length is placed. So there's a conductor of length L placed here. So which direction magnetic field is acting? Magnetic field is acting, of course, Earth's magnetic field only. So magnetic field is acting in this direction. This is Earth's magnetic field. So what it says, suddenly if a certain amount of charge is passed through, what will happen if you make some certain charge Q2 pass through? Will it experience any force when the charge flows through? It will experience force. And in this case, what is not given, but is this something, if it jumps, the direction of charge is such, it will experience a force in the vertically upward direction. Okay, which direction the force acts? It acts in the vertically upward direction. So what is force equal to? What is magnetic force here? Let's say the length is L. It is short time. Okay, so short time we can take for this length L. Let's say it travels this entire length of the conductor in time delta t. So what will the magnetic force? Can we write magnetic force here? What will magnetic force equal to? Q V cross B. But V and B are mutually perpendicular. So Q is a charge flow into velocity VB. But what is B here? B is equal to length L, and it has taken some time delta t, which is very, very small time, into B. So such question where something is like given a small time. See, this is something we can take. If I take delta t to other side, what is this term FB into delta t equal to? Are we familiar with this term? This is equal to Q into L into B. When the suddenly was, so what is this term called here? Force into time. What is that called?
Impulse.
Impulse. So whenever suddenly something passes through, rather than calculating force, we calculate this, the impulse which will act is like hitting the rod in upward direction. When you get impulse, what will happen? Impulse will result in change in velocity. This impulse is equal to change in momentum. Since initial momentum was 0, it will be equal to final momentum. So as this charge passes through, suddenly it is equivalent to, it will impart a velocity equal to mv. Initial momentum is 0. So this is the equation. QLB equal to mv. As the charge flows through, as the time period is short, this is the impulse which will act. So what it means, whether it is time taken is 1 microsecond or time taken is 2 microsecond, both cases impulse remains same. It is not coming independent. So if the charge is, say, if the time taken delta t is say 1 nanosecond, and other case time delta t is equal to 2 nanosecond. This time is not coming in the equation here. Why is the time not coming in the equation here? Why in both cases the impulse will be same? Why both cases will end up with the same velocity after the charge is passed through? Can you think of a reason why it is happening? When time taken is less. Okay. So it means the force is acting for a shorter duration. But when time taken is less, velocity is more. The magnitude of force is twice as much compared to second one, but it is acting for half a duration. Are you noticing some of you understood what I'm saying now? See, if I take, so it is comes independent of the time. So this is momentum. Now is suddenly velocity v is imparted, it jumps to height h. So is h and v related? Yes, h and v are related. What is h equal to? If it is velocity v, h is equal to v square by 2g. So I substitute this in this equation. So v is equal to q square l square b square by 2g into m square. What we need to find here is what is the charge which has to pass through. Q value you can easily calculate. Q value comes equal to GH BL. Karthike, have you understood this question?
Yes, sir.
Pranav?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, this is slightly different one, not the force. We need to take care of impulse so that we get rid of time because the time is not mentioned. Time is not coming into figure. This is how we get rid of impulse. I hope all are clear. This is a little different kind of, yes.
So can you just repeat the concept?
Yeah, I'll do that again. Okay. Shall I do from beginning or you want to just repeat in this screen? I can redo that. Huh?
Sir,
See, basically what we are saying here, why would it, see, have you understood the figure? This conductor of length L is lying along east-west direction. So when the charge flows in the conductor along east-west direction, the charge direction is perpendicular to magnetic field. That's the purpose of orientation. So B and V vector are perpendicular to each other. And if it jumps up, so two directions for charge flow are possible. In one direction, force will act downwards, other force will act upwards. We assume the direction is not relevant here. Direction is such that force is upwards and force will be equal to Q into V into B. This charge Q flows with the length. Now, in this particular case, what is V? We assume that it travels a length L in time delta t. So velocity will become L by delta t into B. So since time is not mentioned here, I take time to other side. This becomes equal to force into time. This is called impulse. Impulse is equal to QLB. So rather than using force equation, I'm going to use impulse equation, which is impulse will be equal to change in momentum. Initially, before the charge was passed, it was at rest. Initial momentum was 0. Let's see, soon after the charge is passed and time interval is so small, during the time interval, during this time delta t, what is the vertical displacement of the rod? Vertical displacement of the rod is almost 0. That's why we are not taking account. That's why the time period, short time period is relevant here. Okay. So during this interval, it's very short period, rod doesn't undergo much displacement. Impulse is equal to this. And change in momentum, change in momentum. So change in momentum is equal to final momentum because initial momentum is 0. It gives me value of velocity the rod will have soon after charge has flown through it. So it is equivalent to rod after the charge passed through, it has acquired velocity. It is similar to rod being hit in vertically upward direction. From this equation, H and V are related. This simple equation, I substitute this value, I get a value of Q.
So, but then there's even, I mean, they told that it has a vertical displacement, right?
No, but see, this is something. Even if the acceleration is large, if time interval is very small, during the time interval, displacement is negligible. Okay, so there is two parts as the charge flows from one end to other. Will it undergo significant value of vertical displacement? No. Whenever we say a certain amount of charge positive on to jump. Yeah. So basically, I think whenever say suddenly means it happens in a very small time interval. So it's something like this. If a ball is placed here, okay. If I hit the ball with the Q rod, as I do in case of billiards, during the interval, the Q rod comes in rod comes in contact with the ball. What is the displacement the ball suffered during the time interval it remains in contact? That displacement is negligible. I hope you understand that point. That is something similar. This is called. Yeah.
Sir, impulse is given and the rod has a velocity, right? Upwards.
See, if we hit the ball here, what happens to the ball? Initial velocity is 0. It acquires a velocity v.
Yes,
How
now
do we
this
relate this velocity?
we can.
Huh?
Now this velocity is direction perpendicular to the field, right? So that can result in force.
I'm not. See, this is something. Why it has acquired velocity? Tell me see. I think again, if I look through the logic, what is the logic we are used? As the charge flows implies it has velocity. If charge flows because of magnetic field, there will be force acting, and force is acting for a short duration. So either I can use F is equal to ma, and since those values are not given, I can either use force is equal to mass into acceleration, or I use impulse equal to change in momentum. So I think, in my opinion, it's pretty clear. Impulse makes more sense. So I have written in form of delta t. And what is the effect of impulse is something first year concept. If there's anything problem, we can refresh that part. but impulse is equal to change in momentum. So simply, as soon as the impulse acts, something like hitting a cricket ball with the bat also. When we hit a cricket ball with the bat, see, during the time the bat remains in contact with the ball, displacement is negligible. So that is I'm using, I'm nothing new. So, so when it acquires a velocity, which direction, force in upward direction, acquires velocity, how high it will go, that depends on the velocity. I have used that one, nothing new.
So here, the velocity is given in the upwards direction, which is perpendicular to the field, right?
Yes.
So even that should be resulting in a force due to the magnetic field.
No, but now there's no charge, no? The charge has passed through.
It's normally also when it is passing horizontally, the net charge is anyway 0, right?
See, I think always problem is net charge has passed through. What do you say when the net has passed through means after the time is what? Is still any charge flowing through? No. Yeah, you will just see sometimes I think your question is not entirely wrong. But I think I mentioned earlier also, what you do, sometimes you tend to overdo things. And you have to solve the question in the spirit of question, the way it is normally given. Okay, so where is that rod still has charge? No, the charge has passed through, there's no net charge. That's how it is. Can you question that one? Where has the charge gone? How it can come? We can question 10 different ways, but that's not the purpose of the question is, and that's not the approach you should have while solving question. Okay, where has the charge gone? Is the charge still there? No, it is not there. The charge has passed through. That's the way you can, I think 99% people will interpret that fashion. Don't make it too complicated in your mind. And you do something with so many other questions also. So try to think a simplified way. Yes, anybody else also has some query?
So it is a conductor that undergoes vertical displacement, right? It's not the charge flowing through it.
No, it's what it says. If the conductor still retains some net charge, then it will have vertical direction motion. Even if it has vertical direction motion, in that case, force will be in the horizontal direction, height will not matter. But what he's saying now, see, if the charge is passed through and still if the rod retains some net charge, if the rod is having vertical motion, the charge also has vertical motion. So some more magnetic force will act. That's what he's saying. What he's saying, I am not disputing. What he's saying is correct if it has net charge. He may question where the charge Q has gone. It has passed means what? It is not there in the part of rod anymore. Where it has gone, it has disappeared. That's how we need to take it.
Why will it have net charge, sir? But
Sir, I mean, normally, even in normal current flow also, there is no net charge, right? We just see that the charges are moving.
Okay, I think Ahlad, you can keep this question after the class session, not now. Because this is something I think the rest of the people won't have this doubt. And this is something what you're saying, I'm not saying it is incorrect. But that's not the way you need to analyze. So you'll discuss it afterwards, because I doubt the rest of the 45 people are interested in this answer. Okay. So because this is something is a what you may call as hair splitting approach, which has its own purpose, but not for the entire classroom session. Okay. Magnetic moment of Argand. So we had done, we recall something about magnetic moment. Anvita, what is magnetic dipole moment? What creates magnetic dipole moment? Bhagishri, what is magnetic dipole moment? What is magnetic dipole moment?
Charge.
The voice is breaking off. I think some problem with connection. Jaideep, can you tell me what is magnetic dipole moment?
Sir, a closed loop carrying current produces a magnetic dipole.
So is that difficult? Is the concept? It is not a concept. It's a simple definition. Anybody should be able to answer in a clear fashion. So whenever you have a current carrying loop, it's a magnetic dipole. Jaideep, can you tell me now if charge Q, what is given here? Charge Q having mass M, it is orbiting in a circle of radius R with a frequency F. Do you think it will lead to, this can be treated as equivalent to magnetic dipole?
Yes, sir. It will carry current QF, sir.
So it will carry current. It is a loop kind of thing. So the current is forming a loop. It will have a magnetic dipole moment. So prima facie, what we understand, any orbiting charge creates a magnetic dipole moment. The question is, if these are the parameters given, charge is Q, frequency is F, radius is R, mass is M, what is the magnetic dipole moment? it is easy to calculate. Magnetic dipole moment is NIA. In this case, this no multiple loop is current into area. What we need to do, can we calculate magnetic dipole moment? Does it require any complex concept? No. First, we need to understand what is the current here. So can we calculate what is the current here? Orbiting charge is equivalent to current loop. Yes, it will have magnetic dipole moment. What is the equivalent current? Current is equal to charge into frequency, or if omega is given, omega, it can be written in form of omega also, Q into omega by 2 pi. So this is the equivalent current. And what is the area? Area of loop is pi r square. So what will be the dipole moment? Dipole moment will be equal to current into area of into pi r square. If I want to write in terms of omega, sometimes in not frequency, angular frequency is given, it is q by 2 omega r square. So dipole moment, finding dipole moment does not require any new application. Same concept you apply step by step. I get a value of magnetic dipole moment. I will do one more thing here, because mass is also given. I'll calculate angular momentum also. So when this particle has mass as well, if whenever it has charge, charge is always associated with mass. Charge cannot exist without mass. So if what is the angular momentum of this particle undergoing orbital motion? We know angular momentum is momentum into r. Momentum is mrv into r. So angular momentum becomes equal to linear momentum into r. So in terms of omega, angular momentum is mr square omega. Why we are calculating angular momentum? There's a reason why we're calculating angular momentum. So when we find the ratio of magnetic dipole moment by angular moment, magnetic dipole moment, some mostly will use capital M term, but sometimes books you also use mu term. So either this or this is used to refer magnetic dipole moment. So when I take the ratio of the two, I get a value equal to q by 2m. So q by 2m is the ratio. Q being the charge, m being the mass. Okay, so that's the ratio of magnetic dipole moment, and which comes the numerator. The term which is related to charge comes the numerator. Term which is related to mass comes in the denominator, q by 2m. And why are we doing it? Why it is useful? This ratio holds good if the charge distribution is identical to the mass distribution with respect to the axis. So what does it mean? So we'll try and understand using in terms of one example. So why are we, yes Akash?
Sir, finish sir, after.
Okay, so let's see how it is useful. Why are we doing this one? I will just tell you the reason also. Between the two quantity, if you have to calculate magnetic moment or angular momentum, we find calculation of angular momentum, which is I omega, is much easier. So using this relationship is used to simplify calculation of M. What is the purpose of this relationship? To simplify calculation of M. Rather than calculating M, I calculate L, which is much easier. Simplified calculation of magnetic dipole moment. As L calculation is easier, I'll give one example, and with one example you can understand many other examples also. Let's say what is the given here? Charge Q is uniformly distributed over a surface of thin or thick, doesn't matter, over a surface of a disk, or it is in form of what over the volume of a disk. Both will remain same. So charge Q is uniformly distributed, or charge density per area is constant, or charge density per volume is constant. Both are same. What will be magnetic moment if rotated with angular velocity omega about its axis? If it is having net charge, the disk is not neutral. The disk has net charge, total charge is Q, and it is distributed over its surface or volume. Okay. If it is rotated, is equivalent to giving orbital motion to all charges which is present in the disk. And we know when charges are given an orbital motion, they will develop magnetic moment. The question is, what is the magnetic moment? So magnetic moment, if I have to calculate magnetic moment, I have to take several concentric rings, calculate charge on each ring, calculate equivalent current, and then calculate magnetic moment of each ring and add it up. Or what I can do other way around, I can simplify the calculation using previous relationship. It is much easier to calculate angular momentum I into omega. So what we assume here, since charge is uniformly distributed, total mass is uniformly distributed over a disk of radius r and rotating in the same sense with omega. So what we do, we take a similar system which has, rather than charge distribution, it has mass distribution of similar nature. Okay, so if we take mass distribution, we know what is the angular momentum. Angular momentum, if mass is distributed in form of a disk, and if it is rotating about an axis of the disk, angular momentum is I into omega. I is equal to mr square by 2 into omega. Once I have this relationship, I can use previous equation. Angular momentum by linear momentum, the magnetic moment divided by angular momentum is equal to charge divided by 2m. So what I have done, rather than calculating value of mu or m or magnetic dipole moment, we have calculated angular momentum. Because angular momentum, I can directly use formula for known shapes. So can we get a value of m from here? Pretty simple. M value becomes equal to L into Q by 2m. We substitute value of L is equal to 1 by 2 mr square omega into Q by 2m. So mm term gets cancelled, and what I'll be left with? Omega Q r square by 4. This would be the dipole moment of charge Q spread over a disk of radius r, and if disk is rotated with angular velocity omega, this would be the angular momentum. And suppose charge is distributed in form of a sphere, charge is distributed over the surface of a sphere, all cases we can do. Yes, anybody has any query?
Sir?
Yes?
So this relation will be true for all rotating charges?
Yes, I have mentioned a condition. What condition?
Magnetic moment by
No,
angular
which
momentum.
condition? The charge distribution nature has to be similar to mass distribution nature. Okay, so if a charge is this up, okay, so there's something, as long as the mass is distributed in same way, same manner as charge is distributed in the same manner as the mass is, the ratio will remain constant. And we can do some more 1 or 2 derivation. This thing we could have calculated. In this case, is it possible to calculate without using this formula also? It is possible to calculate m. How would we calculate m? We divide this into several concentric rings.
Integration.
And we can integrate, and we find this, you get to the same number. Okay. So this is whenever we have to find magnetic moment for a charge distribution. What are the shapes for which we know moment of inertia? We know for disk, we know for a ring, we know moment of inertia for a solid sphere, spherical shell. So if the question comes, charge is distributed over a sphere on the surface of a sphere of radius r. Then suppose question is what? Charge is distributed over surface of a sphere of radius r. Where is the charge? On the surface of a sphere. And a sphere is rotated with angular velocity omega about its axis. What is the total charge? Total charge Q is placed on surface of a sphere. What would be the magnetic dipole moment now?
Solid sphere, sir.
On the surface of a surface means it doesn't matter with what is on the surface of a sphere.
Like a spherical shell, right, sir?
Yes, the charge, so mass also should be only in form of a, where should mass be? On the surface of a sphere.
Q omega r square by 3.
The mass also, what should I take now? Can I take solid sphere? No, since the charge is only on the surface, mass also should be on the surface. What kind of mass? Mass also should be only on surface. What does only on surface mean? Mass is in form of a spherical shell. Mass in form of a spherical shell. So which moment of inertia I will take here?
Spherical shell.
The spherical shell. Shreya?
So what happens if mass is not on the surface?
Yeah, then distribution is not similar. See, when we derived this one, we see previous case also. What we did, we placed the mass at the same place with the charges. Okay.
Oh yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Yeah. So that's what his point is. So this is something it is not. So wherever charge is, whether this in the similar proportion of mass also we are placing here. The charge is here on the surface. Then mass also should be placed and distributed in the similar fashion. So mass also should be exactly where the charge is, and the similar proportion as charges. Then only can apply. Right?
Sir,
Yes.
if there's a proton and an electron revolves around it, is it like both electric dipole and magnetic dipole?
If suppose I keep on a disk, this is a neutral disk. On a place, I place plus Q charge at a distance r, and I place minus Q charge also at a distance r if I rotate. Will it have any magnetic dipole?
It'll be zero net current.
No, what will happen? Net current will become zero.
Yes, sir.
So that's why when we have a neutral disk also you can think of everywhere. There's positive charge present, negative charge also. But if a neutral disk is rotated, will it create any current? It will not create any current. What is necessary for current to be created? There has to be net charge. And what is important? How is the charge placed with respect to axis? If charge is placed at a larger distance for same omega, current may be same depending on distance, but area becomes larger. It will have larger magnetic dipole moment. Gayatri, have you understood so far?
Yes, sir.
You want me to repeat some part?
No, sir, it's fine.
So it becomes boring sometimes you repeat too much, is it not?
No.
Okay. So and any shape you can calculate. Now we come to something. What happens if we place a magnetic dipole moment in a uniform magnetic field? What is magnetic dipole moment? For ease of understanding, we have taken a rectangular current carrying loop. What are the side? One side is length is L, other side is M. Okay, one side is L, other dimension is M. And it is placed initially. It is placed in XY plane, and there's a uniform magnetic field in the space in Z direction, and it is having current I. So it is a current carrying loop. What shape loop is? Loop is in shape of a rectangle. Current is flowing along the perimeter, and it is forming a dipole. Can we find the direction of dipole here? With the right hand, if we have our fingers curling along the direction of current. So how would I bend my finger? My palm being here, my fingers will curl like this. How this tip of my fingers will point like this. If I do like this, my thumb will point upwards. So direction of magnetic dipole moment. If the loop is placed in XY plane, M also is in upward direction. So this is the direction of M. So every time we talk of magnetic dipole moment, we can think of is a vector quantity. We can think of as an arrow. So this circular loop, this rectangular loop, current carrying loop, I can replace with an arrow having magnitude M. M is equal to I into area, I into L into M. That's magnetic dipole moment, and this is B. So when it is placed like this, if the field is uniform, we know already any loop placed in uniform magnetic field will not experience any net force. The reason is pretty simple. If we look at this, suppose we take this element. What will the direction of force in this element here? The current is flowing towards my right. So one finger current is towards right. First vector is towards right. And second vector, which is B, is up. So if I put curl my finger from the right finger to up finger, my thumb will point towards me. So in this element, force will act in this fashion. Similarly, this direction, force will act in this direction. Everywhere, force is acting in the outward direction. And forces will, opposite sides, force will cancel out, net force is 0. This is what we know already. So whenever rectangular loop is placed in a uniform field, it will not experience any net force. So dipole moment will be as shown. I hope all of you understood how we find the direction of dipole moment. So initially, M and B both are in the same direction. Magnetic force on the force of the dipole will act outward direction, and net force being 0. I think it's easy to understand why the net force are 0. Opposite sides will have equal and opposite force. And since the entire rectangular loop, which plane it is lying in? It is lying in XY plane. So all the forces also are acting in XY plane. All are in the same plane. Forces are in the same plane, net force being 0. What will happen if the loop is rotated by theta about x-axis? Just imagine I have kept a sheet. Now it is rotated about the x-axis. I tilt it by angle theta from here. It is rotated by angle theta.
There'll be torque, sir.
Well, yes, that's a torque. We are coming to this one. It will have a torque. So let's understand what changes moment I apply this angle theta here. See, even now, since the magnetic force will continue to act. Important point. Let's understand again. Which direction the field is? Field is in the vertical direction. Any current element we take here, any current element, whichever direction of current element is, force will always act in the horizontal direction. Okay. So what has happened earlier? So this is lifted up. So what has happened? This particular side of the loop has been lifted above the XY plane. This has gone below the XY plane. So what is happening? This also force is acting in the horizontal, in a direction parallel to xy plane, but it is above xy plane. Force acting on this side of the loop is below xy plane. So forces are not acting in the same plane. Forces are not collinear. So let's try and understand what is happening. So Bernoulli tilt by angle theta. And if you understand derivation, it's much better. If you don't understand, at least understand how to apply and how to make use of this application. So here we have rotated. The moment we tilt, earlier the M was vertical. Since the whole area has been tilted, what happens? Magnetic dipole moment vector also will tilt by angle theta. This is the new orientation. Magnetic dipole moment is making angle theta with a uniform magnetic field. What we can say in this case condition, we can say that magnetic dipole moment is placed in a uniform magnetic field at an angle theta with the field. This is how it is placed. Now, what are the forces acting here? Forces, two equal and opposite forces. What it is based on the concept we have talked about when we did electric dipole. Two equal and opposite forces form a couple, which creates a torque, which is equal to magnitude of force into perpendicular distance between them. So let's say I understand what will happen here. If we take corresponding element here, suppose I take one element here and I take other element here. Okay, so this also force will act and this also force will act outwards direction. Both are horizontal force. But these two forces, you can easily visualize both the forces are collinear. Both will have same z coordinate. Both the forces will have same z coordinate. Are you following? This point also, this point, both will have same z coordinate. So if they have same z coordinate, they are collinear forces, they will not form a couple. So any element we take, corresponding element, forces are acting the same z coordinate, which means they are in the same horizontal plane. They will cancel out each other. So two corresponding forces will be in the same horizontal forces. But let's come to what happens to force acting on side AB and CD. If a force acting on side AB and CD, analyze forces on opposite sides of the rectangle. When I calculate force on the side AD and BC, on the corresponding pair of elements, I find the forces are in the same horizontal plane. How do I check horizontal plane? Z coordinates are equal here. Z coordinates are equal. When I tilt, both are aayenge. If I take corresponding equal Z coordinate, these forces will, two equal and opposite forces, but perpendicular distance below, they are not forming a couple. So forces acting on these two sides do not form a couple. Now come to this side. Which direction the force will act on this particular element, AB? The element AB, if we look perhaps sideways, it is better. Okay. If I look from the side view, if I look from the side AB,
Back towards the left.
yes, it will act again. It will act along the left horizontal direction. The force will be magnitude of force is current into length. Length is L and B. So when I look from, if I look at two-dimensional view, A and B point will look like a one point only. So this point indicates what? AB point. I hope you understand this is side view. And C and D point also from side view, they will coincide. Okay, so which direction the force is acting? Since the magnetic field is along Z direction, force will act in the horizontal direction. This force will be ILB and this force also ILB. But any point, every single point on element AB will have same Z coordinate. I hope all of you understand. The Z coordinate of every single element on side AB will be at same Z coordinate. That's why it is looking like this here. And similar way, any element on CD also will have same Z coordinate. So they will act, the forces will act in the horizontal direction, but not in the same horizontal plane. So forces will act like this. Okay. So analyze forces, a pair of element on side parallel to x-axis will be in the same horizontal plane. Hence, they will not form a couple. So these two sides are not forming a couple. Two sides parallel to x-axis will be in different horizontal plane. As the forces lie in the respective horizontal planes, hence they form a couple. So this force here will lie in the same plane, same horizontal plane, in which element AB lies. And this will lie in a horizontal plane in which CD lies. Sideway, it will look like this. Now, can we find the torque or couple here? What is the perpendicular distance between them? So we have taken the length AD. Length AD as well as BC is equal to M, and this length is L and this length is M. So this side inclined distance is M and this angle is theta. So what is the perpendicular distance between the two of them? What is the perpendicular distance between two forces, equal and opposite forces? If this inclined distance, if AD side is equal to M, this will be equal to M sine theta. So what is the torque here? So this will experience a torque, magnetic dipole pair, torque on the dipole will be perpendicular distance, length of the side AD into sine theta. So torque will be equal to force ILB into M sine theta. When I look at this term here, I into L into M. What is L into M? Is nothing but area of the rectangle. So I into LML is nothing but magnetic dipole moment. So M is what? M is equal to I into L into M. So this torque comes equal to MB sine theta. Moment it comes to MB sine theta is a product of two vectors. It's a cross product. So in vector form, the torque will be M cross B, which is identical to expression we obtained in case of electric dipole placed in uniform electric field.
Sir, can you repeat the torque parts? I didn't understand.
Yeah, okay. Torque part, I'll just go through the whole thing again. This is something I understood when we see. First point I'm making: every single element force will act in the horizontal direction. Why force will lie always in horizontal plane? Why is
because
force
field is upwards.
Yes. So if B is vertically upwards, force has to be always perpendicular to B. Force will be in the horizontal plane. Now let's look at the side AB. All part of side AB, is it in the same horizontal plane or not? Same horizontal
Yes,
plane is the z coordinate of every element of AB. Is the z coordinate of every element of AB same or different?
Same, sir.
Same. And how about and this is positive. And how about CD?
Same, sir.
Same. But what will happen on the side AD and BC? In case of AD and CD, if I take corresponding elements, in corresponding elements, if I take two corresponding elements have same value of Z. Okay. If they are same value of Z, the forces are acting at the same horizontal plane, but in the opposite direction. But if they lie in the same plane, they are not forming couple. So forces acting on side AD and BC, they form a pair. But perpendicular distance being 0, they don't result in a torque. Whereas force acting on side AB and CD, they are not lying in the same plane. They are not in the same line. There is a perpendicular distance between the two forces. Hence, they form a torque or a couple. So that's what analysis forces is: pair of elements at two sides parallel to y-axis. Which are the two sides parallel to y-axis? These were the two sides which are originally parallel to y-axis. These two side forces, all elements forces will lie in same horizontal. If you take corresponding pair, they lie in same horizontal plane and they cancel out. So they don't cancel out means for the purpose of calculation of force also they cancel out. They don't form a torque also. They don't form a couple. Whereas for force acting, now if we take side view, I hope you understood what the side view is. In side view, if you look from the side view, it clearly indicates all elements, force acting on all element AB. All element will have same Z coordinate. Height from y-axis will be equal. And what would that be equal to? So, and force being horizontal. What is the magnitude of force? I represent a force equal to I into L into B. Be clear, angle between L vector and B vector is still 90 degree. L vector and B vector is 90 degree. Be clear about that part also. That's why it is equal to ILB. There's no theta angle coming in. Because this, what is it? If I have to write L vector will be what? L vector, direction of L vector is still along I cap. Are you following? This current is along I cap and this current is minus I cap. And field is along Z direction. So force is always in this fashion. So this is how the force is acting on two sides, ILB and these forces. So what is the couple it forms? The definition of couple or torque itself is force multiplied by perpendicular distance between the two forces. We extend the line of action of this force here. Okay, they are not like along the same plane. So what is the perpendicular distance between two forces? It is equal to this side AD. What is side AD? Other side of the rectangle. Once this side is L, this side is M. The length of the side AD is equal to M. This angle is theta. So perpendicular distance becomes equal to M sine theta. Hence, what is the torque? Torque is this term multiplied by this term. So any current carrying loop, when placed in uniform magnetic field at some angle theta, experiences torque. And how do we calculate torque on the dipole? Torque on the perpendicular distance is equal to length of the side AD into sine theta. We substitute those values, we get into ILB into m sine theta. We use IL into m as nothing but magnetic dipole moment m. It becomes mb sine theta, which is in terms of direction we can check. It could be b cross m or m cross b. In this case, which direction the torque is acting? Torque is acting in this particular direction. Torque is tending to torque is, and this how the torque is acting. Previous slide also. So which one is, should it be m cross b or b cross m? We can check based on the direction. It matches with m cross b. So torque acting on current carrying loop placed in a uniform magnetic field is equal to m cross b. How do I view m? This is what m is. So how do I find the direction of torque? M cross b. First vector is m, second vector is b. I curl my finger from first vector to second vector. If I curl my finger, I find the thumb is pointing towards me. The thumb is pointing towards plus x-axis, I cap. So when I rotate like this, torque acting will be equal to m cross b, direction will be I cap. I can find the direction of torque using my standard understanding of cross product. What does torque tend to do? As exactly the same thing happens, what happens in case of electric dipole? It tends to align the dipole along with the magnetic field. When would torque become zero? Or when would come into rotational equilibrium? When m cross b is equal to 0. Then it will be in the state of rotational equilibrium. No torque will act. Which condition will the torque become 0? What has to be angle between m and b? Sin theta has to be 0, which is theta is equal to 0 or 180. In that case, the torque becomes 0. Any other angle, the torque will act. And magnitude of torque is equal to m sine theta. And what we notice here, it only depends on, it is independent of the shape of the loop. It doesn't matter. If you have circular loop also, something similar will happen. Yes, anybody else has any query?
Sir,
Yes?
sir, normally for direction of torque, what do we take, sir?
I will come to that part again. And once we are done with this again, because some part of again rotation also, we'll do that part. Okay. So what is the direction of omega we take? What is the direction of torque we take? No, I will discuss once we are done with this. Maybe I'll revisit that part of the torque. Okay. See, suppose I take, okay, maybe now itself I can tell. See, suppose this loop is rotated in this fashion. Which direction the loop is rotating? This direction loop is rotating. Okay. So I'm rotating the loop just like fan, it is rotating like this. What is the, can I find the direction of this rotation? You visualize this is the direction of rotation, this is how the loop is rotating. So direction of omega, what is the direction of omega? Direction of omega also again right hand thumb. If loop is rotating in this fashion, if I curl my fingers in this direction, which direction is the thumb pointing?
Positive x direction.
Positive x direction. So what is this omega? If it is rotating the leg, omega will be omega I cap. Similarly, this torque also, which direction the torque is trying to rotate now? This torque is again trying to bring, it is trying to rotate in this fashion. So which direction is the torque acting now? The torque is acting also I cap direction. Okay. So torque also, how do you find the direction of torque? Again, right hand thumb rule. And so one way of understanding third group, this is direction in which is tending to rotate. I will take some more example of again, say like rotation and all, so we'll understand better. So when it comes to m by b, what does that mean independent of shape? See, rather than having rectangular loop, which has an area Lm, if I take any irregular shape, which is lying in xy plane, if area is equal to Lm and current I is passed through, still it will experience same torque. Okay, so basically, it is independent of shape. It depends on area, it depends on current, it depends on m. We can obtain same value of m by several different shapes. As long as area and current product remains same, the m remains same, torque remains same. It doesn't depend on the shape. So what we have done for is rectangular loop, same thing is valid in case of circular loop as well. Okay. So any more questions on this? Okay, so in case of torque, let me again go through torque part a little bit more. Let's take example of torque. And if I find right hand thumb rule, Z axis is towards us, right? And assume that what we do here, just to understand torque, see, we create a rod, we pivot one point here, and the rod is placed like this. And so rod is placed along x-axis, pivoted at the origin, length of the rod is L. If I apply a force F here, which direction? F is equal to some F J cap. If I apply a force, which plane the rod will rotate in? Can you visualize this rod? Whether something is pivoted at this end, what will happen? Moment I apply this force, rod will start rotating something like little later, rod may appear like this. Is it not? Rod will be set into rotation. So first, in this case, what is the direction of torque? Can I find the direction of torque here? Torque about point O. What will the torque about O? In terms of magnitude, I could have taken force into lever arm perpendicular distance. Torque is equal to F into L. But what is the direction? One way of finding direction, torque is equal to R cross F. So I can find direction based on R direction. What is R direction? R direction is along I cap and F direction is along J cap. So which direction of the torque is? K cap. So what is the direction of torque? Direction of torque is perpendicular to this plane, but direction is along K cap. Why we say it is K cap? When it starts rotating, this torque is giving angular velocity in which direction? That's how it is rotating. So when it starts rotating, if I curl my fingers along the direction of angular velocity, okay, so direction of angular, if it is rotating like this, if I curl my fingers along the path taken by any particle, if I curl with direction along the motion of path of any particle, how would this particle move? All particles will move in this kind of circular path. If I curl my fingers along the direction of path of every particle, which direction my thumb will point? If I curl my fingers along the path of any particle on the rod, which direction my right hand thumb will point? Towards positive Z direction. So that's the value of omega. And see, any object when it starts moving, any object from rest, if you apply a force, which direction does it move? What is the direction of velocity if your object is start moving from rest under application of force? Direction of velocity and force are same. Similar way here also started rotating from the state of rest. Omega value direction and torque directions are same. Which direction? It is along K cap direction. So K cap direction, see, when we say if torque is something like this, torque is something like tau I cap. What does torque I cap indicate? Indicate is torque will rotate the object about x-axis. All you understand rotation about x-axis. What is rotation about y-axis? How would this shape would look like if I rotate about z-axis? Can you think of this? So if torque is K cap direction, it will tend to rotate the shape along this way. If it is along y cap direction, it will tend to it is along z direction, it will tend to rotate along y-axis. If torque is I cap direction, it will tend to rotate along x-axis. Jaideep, are you following something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So most of it has gone into the head or not much?
All of it, sir.
All of it. Very good. The direction of torque also, Halad, are you getting some sense of what is direction of torque?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So direction of torque, you can take a simple case, visualize. I think, see, when we say torque is like I cap, it will tend to rotate about x-axis. And then we can visualize how does rotation about x-axis look like. How does rotation about? So take a rectangular sheet, mark x, y, z direction, and try to give rotation yourself. You will understand what is rotation about x-axis, what is rotation about y-axis, what is rotation about z-axis, what will create rotation about x-axis if the torque is along x-axis. And when torque is along x-axis, r vector and force vector are perpendicular to that plane. So that's what we have done. Torque on a magnetic dipole placed in a uniform magnetic field. And some of you are asking this question, Akash, what is the significance magnetic dipole has? This is significance magnetic dipole has. So we understand one more reason why it is called a dipole. Though it doesn't have a positive pole and negative pole. It is called a dipole because it behaves in almost an identical parallel fashion to electric dipole. Electric dipole has positive and negative charge. It doesn't have positive and negative charge. Despite not having positive and negative thing, still its behavior is similar to a dipole. Any current carrying loop has properties similar to electric dipole. Torque also similar to, in case of electric dipole is P cross E, it is M cross P. Okay, so that's what it is. So I think time is up. So I'll end the session here. Anybody has any query, you can ask, or otherwise we'll end up the session now. Yes, who are the people who have doubts? Akash, you have any doubt? Arif?
Yes, sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, in the question of impulse,
Yes.
we took the change in momentum in the y direction, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, fine.
Because force has to be in y direction, either plus or minus. It cannot be in any other direction.
Yes, sir.
Can it be?
No.
No.
Sir, so we take change in momentum only in the direction of force.
I'll hit on your head. It's a vector quantity. Okay. So something like this. So you are all going to basic. Okay, let me tell this point. I think you have very basic doubt. We'll have to clarify that point. Okay. So 1 minute.